Good evening, everybody. This is Sam Shad over at BlendedSkies.com. Wanted to thank you for dropping by and watching this, my first video tutorial. I got to tell you, this is probably the sixth or seventh take I've done on this, and I've got a newfound respect for those guys who do this for a living. I won't be doing many of these. It is a lot of work in my eyes. I would rather focus on bringing you the best tracking and panos I can with some good backplates. That's what I enjoy most. But I did run across something the other day as I was tracking Warehouse 7 Clip 6 available on Blended Skies in the store. Um, and if my internet connection decides to comply tonight, I will be happy to show you that. The effect that we're trying to create is uh, this is a frame taken from the final render. This software that I'm using for the screen capture doesn't allow me to play video. I'll find something better at a later date, but I wanted to get this out there tonight. So what we're going to be trying to do is from our tracked footage, place a cycles texture, a cycles material onto a flat plane and have that move with the tracked footage. It's a pretty simple workflow to get this to happen, and I had a lot of fun doing that. It took me a little while to figure out how to get this material to work, but it worked really well. So the workflow is really simple. It's about 3 steps. Uh, the footage is tracked. That's what we're doing here at Blended Skies. The track is good. There's not any jiggling. It's very stable. I don't know what it would look like if you put a gigantic object in the whole scene. You may see some issues, but for general purposes, what I'm doing and what you can see on the web when you look at the website, which has now decided to comply, uh, Warehouse 7 Clip 6. When you go to the store and you take a look at it, you'll see what was achieved, and we'll go through Blender in just a second and take a look. But our workflow will be this. We will place a plane or a cube at the position of the tracked marker, a very essential tracked marker. We're going to be looking at the bottom left-hand corner. Sorry, the bottom left-hand corner of this column that wound up being at the very end of the footage. We're going to then take that plane that we placed there, and we're going to unwrap it and create a UV map. Once that is done, we'll move over to the node editor, and we'll create a cycles material using JPEGs to give us an alpha mask texture and a diffuse texture. And cycles is a little bit difficult to grasp the first time you create a material that you want to have transparencies in. But we'll walk through that. So let's get to this. We want to create a cube whose bottom left corner is going to be right here on track 44. I'm going to delete some of the pieces of that cube. We really don't need the cube. I just want a face. So I'm going to insert a cube there. I'm going to scale this down. I'll eyeball it. Let's put that corner right there on track 44, because this is the side that's facing the camera. That's what the camera's seeing. So I'm going to go to a side view. That's just a great forklift model. I love that. So if we then look through the camera view, we have this block looks to be in just about the right space. Let's go back to that side view, make sure I didn't put it on the floor. This is the floor plane right there. So if it goes through the floor, not the end of the world. Okay, let's edit this cube so that it is roughly in proportion with the column. I don't know what's, every time I zoom I lose that. Roughly in proportion. So if we played out our video here, I'm going to show you If you notice it's going really slow when you're playing tracked footage, go into the background images and click Render Undistorted. Let me pause that. So yeah, it's stuck there. It's not moving around. I've already rendered this out, and was pretty pleased with the quality of the stability of this tracked footage. I just want that front plane. I don't want to see. I don't need the rest of that cube. And I tried doing this with a plane, but I kept having to rejigger my map. So we've got this thing. It's working. Lo and behold, it appears to be working pretty well. Not jiggling. That plane is going to be right where we want it to be. So we're going to take the plane, which currently we're still in edit mode. Let's take that plane, open a UV image editor. To get the material to work the way we want it to work, give this a little thought before you do it. Let me navigate to these textures real quick. Scads of crud here. All right. We've really got two files that we're going to use in this texture. We've got what I'm calling a diffuse image, and then we have the image that's going to be the alpha mask. And everything in our alpha mask image that is black will keep what's left of the image in the diffuse image. Everything that's white gets erased. So that wound up looking like this, right? So as we, darn it, you're going to create two images. You're going to create your base image that you want. You want to start with that. So I started with this image. We're going to have this alpha mask image, and everything that is black will stay off of the diffuse image, and everything that is white will be erased. I'm not going to go into the niceties of what value black is to cycles, what value white is to cycles. I'm not going to confuse you at this early juncture. Let's just do it. So we're going to open either one of these images. Both of these images are this. If I showed you the right image, both of these images are the same size at the end of the day. So we can choose either one of these images to unwrap onto in Cycles. So within Blender, we're going to select our image, our plane. We're going to open one of those images, either the diffuse or the alpha. It really doesn't matter at this point. I'm going to choose the diffuse. We're going to go back to the 3D view, unwrap, grab there. We're going to scale down just a little bit, scale back up. And when we tab out, we don't even have to tab out of edit mode. Once we unwrap and place the unwrap on top of this image, Blender will create a UV map, and that was really all we were trying to get out of that exercise. So we've done what we wanted to do very quickly. We're going to take that plane, create the plane at the position of the tracked marker. We've unwrapped that plane and created a UV map. Now we're going to create the cycles material. This is pretty quick, pretty down and dirty. So here's this plane. Let's give it a new material. Let's call it Graffiti Tag 2, because I've actually already created another Graffiti Tag in preparation for the tutorial. Let's go up here. I've got a node editor up there, which you can find quite easily just by going node editor. All right, so we're going to delete this diffuse shader, and we're going to start over here on the left with a with a texture coordinate. Because what did we do to our two images? What we did with our two images was we placed them in that UV map, and we really want to have that UV mapping applied to whatever images we use. I think I've got this correct. I'm going to use a transparent down here. I'm going to add a translucent here. We need a mix node here. Yep, I think that does it. Let's go back to my reference over here. No, it's translucent transparent, just to make things more sensible. Okay, so from left to right, here's how it works. We had that UV map, and it was mapped to our image, that diffuse image that I showed you. That's going to give us our UV coordinates. So we're going to have two textures. We have the mask texture, which I'm just going to call alpha mask. And these were image textures. This is going to be called the diffuse image. We're going to go open up our column alpha image, alpha mask. Here, we're going to open up our diffuse mask, diffuse image, sorry. Starting with the diffuse, we're going to take the color of the diffuse and put it into, where do we put it? We're going to put it into the translucent shader here. The translucent shader goes at the bottom of this mix node, followed by the transparent shader. And again, I'm not going to go through the physics of all of this. I'm already rambling too much. I just want you to get the workflow down and figure out how to make this material, because it is really quite easy. The fun part is creating that alpha mask and deciding what things are going to stay and what things are going to go in your image. I had a good time doing that. If I didn't completely screw this up, let's save this. If I didn't completely screw it up, then this should work. Let's not get rid of that quite yet. Let's just move this over. I think it was 2.64.9 where this box was introduced. It's the render area. Instead of rendering the whole thing in cycles, this whole space, we're just going to render the column right there. So if we, the way that you do this, by the way, is Shift B. I just want to render this space right here, and it's only going to render whatever is in that red box. I am using an older card on my Alienware GTX 280s. You have to use the experimental mode of the cycles renderer. Let's see here if we do that. Go into rendered. Let's see if it does it. Lo and behold, it looks like I screwed something up on the texture. I think I know what I did. Diffuse, translucent, not transparent. I keep doing that. I did do that correctly. Diffuse, color. Ah, wrong node. This should go here. And it's definitely going there. For the sake of time, let's just say that that worked. And that at the end of the day, when it's done taking its time rendering, this is what you're going to wind up with. Very quick, very simple. That node setup, again, I will close with that right here. And I think we can kind of call it a day with that, gentlemen. Um, I'll leave you with those thoughts. I thank you much. Sorry for the rambling. Hope you enjoyed this first tutorial. I'll try to come back in the near future and do something on tracking to make that workflow a little bit easier. But if you have any questions, just drop me a line, sam@blendedskies.com. I thank you much. You all have a good evening. I'm going to bed.